evening. You found me upon my drive, having just been to see American Fiction at the cinema, then legged it back to my ex's to collect our daughter to bring her back to mine, and now I'm allowed to sit on my drive and review the film. I mean, you didn't need the preamble, but if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you'll know a whole lot of preamble. So, American Fiction is the directorial debut of a gentleman called Cord Jefferson. The screenplay is also his work. He has adapted a novel called Erasure by a guy called Percival Everett. And it is the story of a writer called Thelonious Ellison, better known to most as Monk, played by the ever excellent Jeffrey Wright. He is clearly a lecturer. We start with him in a lecture theatre. He's published some well-received but not particularly profitable novels. And he's heading back to Boston for a literary festival. Boston is where he's from. He's apprehensive about seeing his family again. And when he gets to the literary festival, he finds that there is a lot of buzz around a new author, a new black woman author who has published this novel. I think it's called We Lives in the Ghetto. And obviously me saying that as a very, very white person sounds silly, but that's kind of the point. So what's her name? Santara Golden has written this book called We Lives in the Ghetto. And he immediately takes against her, the novel. He's frustrated. He's sort of fed up. He's got a book he's written, but nobody wants to publish it, and he's just a bit naffed off. And on top of that, he's got quite a lot of personal stuff going on. So when he gets back to Boston, he sees his sister, Lisa. She's a doctor. She works in a family planning clinic. His mother is clearly not a well woman. There's very clear early signs of dementia. There's the lovely housekeeper, Lorraine, who sort of looks after Agnes, the mum. And the sister sort of pulls him up on shirking his responsibility, sort of saying, you just disappeared off west and you left me here holding everything and controlling everything for mum. And the fact that their father's no longer around is hinted at, that he's dead. You don't find out until later the circumstances around that. So it's a drama. It's about family life and how complicated it is. It is about I guess it's about writing about your own experience and not being pigeonholed. There's a brilliant scene where he's in a bookshop in Boston and he asks the young lad, do you have any books by Thelonious Monk himself? And when the young lad takes him to the section and finds that they're in African American literature, he quite furiously picks up all the books and tries to move them to a different section of the shop, because his work isn't about being black. He writes great books about various things, but he doesn't write about the black experience. And when he's talking to his agent Arthur, he's so naffed off about this idea that this new author's come through because she's writing about the true black experience. And he's like, but I don't write about that because that's not my life. That isn't my experience of being black. It's different. What ends up happening, and I won't go into too much detail beyond this because I don't want to spoil it, but he very swiftly, in amongst all his family chaos, pens a novel called My Pathology. Yeah, Pathology, by under a pseudonym, Stag R. Lee. And it's basically, he writes a book that is everything that he hates. It's black men killing black men, it's the N-word, it's shootouts, it's cops, it's drug deals, it's all that. So just really stereotypical how white people see black culture. It's almost like a parody. He gives it to his literary agent who says nobody's going to buy this, and then of course it blows up. And to say more about that would be given too much away, and I've said quite a bit already. I don't think I've spoiled it in any way. That's sort of the setup. Also in the mix, you've got a love interest by the name of Coraline. The actress's name escapes me, which I'm annoyed about because I did just look her up. She's very interesting and well-rounded. You've got the female characters also of the mother, the housekeeper. The other character I wanted to touch on briefly is the brother character of Cliff, who is played by Sterling K. Brown. Now, I love Sterling. I mean, I love Jeffrey Wright as well. And those two as brothers, those two having sort of banter and brotherly sort of badinage was just perfection. It's really well written. There's some brilliantly sarky lines, some great put downs. But Sterling K. Brown is the brother. So there's 3 children in total. Monk, Lisa, the sister, and then Cliff. Cliff is a plastic surgeon whose wife has left him because she caught him in bed with another man. So now he's really embracing his homosexuality. And he's very different to Monk, and he doesn't really care about much. He's lost a lot in the divorce, money-wise, but he's just sort of thrown himself into casual gay sex and lots of drugs. But he's also impossible to dislike, and there's the exchanges between those two as brothers are so believable and so punchy and poignant. And having watched This Is Us last year, having also seen Sterling K. Brown take over John Spencer's role in a West Wing special episode they did a couple of years ago. If you're not a West Wing fan, this will mean absolutely nothing to you, but they did a special version where they reshot an episode of West Wing but did it like a play. And the John Spencer role, Leo McGarry, as the great John Spencer passed away even before West Wing finished, Sterling K. Brown stepped in to play that role, which might seem very odd because he's a younger black man and Leo McGarry was an old Irish American white guy. But it worked so beautifully because Sterling K. Brown's just such a great actor and a great screen presence. So it's one of those brilliant dramas, I guess, in a similar mold to The Holdovers, that, you know, really you get into somebody's life and the chaos, just the chaos of everyday life and of family life and how people hurt us and how we heal and move on from things. And then the whole, like I say, the book thing and the fact that he's made up this pseudonym and it all completely runs away from him and he has no idea what to do. But on top of all this, he really needs the money because his mother needs round-the-clock care that him and his siblings can't afford. Also in the mix is the lovely Adam Brody, formerly of the OC fame, who also did a brilliant turn in Ready or Not a few years ago. He plays a filmmaker who's called Wiley, who clearly makes awful films, and he takes himself far too seriously. And Adam Brody's clearly having a lot of fun playing this really slimy, clueless, thinks he's brilliant, has no clue, this film director. So yeah, I really enjoyed him as well. It's a cracking film. It's, you know, it hasn't got obvious happy resolutions for everything. It's happy to leave things open-ended. It raises a lot of interesting questions, but to have Jeffrey Wright as a leading man, I'm just like, yes, please, I am absolutely here for it. Or with a supporting cast of the likes of Sterling K. Brown, yes, please, I'm in. It was great. I can see why it was nominated for some awards. It's a film I fear a lot of people will miss, but if you get the chance to see it, it is an absolute little belter. God, I've seen some great films already this year, and it's what, 4th of March? Absolutely brilliant. Great evening spent in the cinema. I'm now going to go back inside my own house because sitting on your drive in your car reviewing films is a bit weird. Thanks for listening. Katie out.